Alright, how's everybody doing? Golden, how you doing, Darlin? I don't know. I viewed your last one, which was the previous one I referred to, which is where I made the, was talking about the if you choose me kind of thing, if titles meant anything kind of thing. You know how I feel about that. That shouldn't even be a question. But I did finally get to see it, and I gotta tell you, at some points I was just like doubly, because you mentioned them before, I was doubly overjoyed at, like the birth and the support part, which was Married at First Sight and all that stuff. I mean, that was the stork, and I thought it was cute. But there was a couple of others that kind of stuck out to me, and I wanted to at least make sure that you knew that it was clarified that way too, because I know these idiots, and you know you know who I'm talking about. Okay, to me, I call them the Franks or the Franks Nazis. They're horrible. They're the ones trying to control the country. I talk about them all the time on this channel. They have nothing. They have no talent. They can do nothing. They have no resources because they steal our resources, which means I don't care how much they have in the backyard, it's all ours. So they don't have nothing. All right? And I am involved right now, I guess, because they're involving me, in fighting that. And they know it. They know I know their hoax, and their hoax is almost up, and I'm just about had it with them. But now they're wanting to go down to something petty as getting into people's relationships and all that stuff and keeping them apart. They're splitters. They try to consider themselves master splitters. They're not masters in anything. They're just troublemakers. But there was a couple of parts in there, and having that said, there was a couple of parts in there that overjoyed me, and a couple of parts that kind of made me stand back and, they've infected this part and this part of, everyday life for one of us anyway. Or both, could be, actually. So I'll start with the bad. That way it gets over and it ends good, okay? Is that okay with you, Miss Golden? Okay. You had mentioned in there that I think at one point, this was way into your reading there. And again, this is looking at it. Oh, and I wanted to pretend with you. I don't like to pretend, but I'll pretend with you that you've got, since we have to communicate this way, which I think is also not so great. But I don't believe in parallelables or no contact and all that stuff. I don't have to do it. I don't do it, and I usually won't do it. But with you I will, because I just don't want to get anybody in trouble here, okay? So we'll give you an imaginary friend. I'll have an imaginary friend that I could be talking to him. I could be talking to you. I could be talking to her. Or I could be referring to you as her or her as you. Just like you do, with the feminine or masculine kind of thing. Does that sound okay with you? Like the timeless thing? Does that sound okay? Okay. So one of the cards you had up there was I'm too afraid to talk to you, and I get that, years ago, and I'm assuming that was either, your friend may be too afraid to talk to my friend, or maybe you being too afraid to talk to me, or whatever. Darn, let me say, if it's your friend and my friend, well, we'll have to get them on the right path, won't we? If it's you and I, let me tell you something, darling. You don't have to worry one bit about talking to me. You do it when you're damn well ready and you're damn well pleased, forgive my language, at your leisure and when you want to. Nobody's pressuring you in to do that at all. Okay? I mean, I would very much like to. I would love it. Nothing. If I got a call from you one day, that would make my day. I would be doing somersaults around the backyard over here if I could. And I would be telling people guess who called me, and they wouldn't have any idea, but I wouldn't care. Okay, I would. That's how much it would excite me. Okay, and regarding these idiots that I keep speaking of, they're also known as those used car salesmen they're hoaxers that you mentioned later in that reading, what you call the devil and everything. Well, those are what I call splitters. It means if they can't have it, they want to split anybody else off from them having it themselves. Which means if they see two people that might be coming up on a really good, really good union or really good relationship or something like that, they might try to keep them apart just by showing the other one an AI-driven video or something. Now, let me tell you something. They shoot video of me every day. And they know what I say. They have mics in my computers. They know how to work them. They do all that stuff. So I know they have more than enough material. But I'm just going to let you know, you could see video of me, because they provoke you 24/7. They want you to get in a bad mood. So if somebody kept poking your leg and poking your leg and poking your leg, and you're going, stop, just stop already. Leave me alone. And all this stuff, or if you don't stop, I'm going to take this big stick and whack you over the head with it and stop it. And that's after like 7 hours of being provoked like that. Okay, well, if I saw only that, you would be like, wow, he seems okay, but it's kind of extreme, and if somebody showed you that, or if you did that and somebody showed you me that of you, I'd be like, wow, she seems okay, but man, she seems kind of pushy at times, Well, in my case, I would know that would not be you, because you're just way too nice everywhere else, and you've got a really good, pure, big heart, and I've already told you how I feel about you on that side. I made a whole video for you there on that. But these splitters, you have to be aware of, because they like to keep wanting to be in a nice, very nice divine union apart, because they know it's going to produce more sunlight, and then they want to, they want to keep that apart because they can't have it. Okay, so now I have had this happen to me in months past, where they would take your voice and film your face and make AI videos of you, share it with somebody else who don't know you that well, thinking that's a fake. And I've had my landlords come out just one morning all of a sudden and say, are you going to go through the trash again? When it's them, because they're going through your trash. Why would I go through my own trash? And I'm like, what are you saying? And they'll be like, are you going to go through the trash again this morning? I'm like, no, ma'am. I don't have a reason to do that. I get it firsthand. But I just throw away what I want. And they're like, okay, well, as long as I don't see you going through the trash. I'm like, I'm not going through the trash. So I want you to be aware of that. Okay, Miss Golden, darling, if you would be aware of that, because it's getting to the level now where I'm afraid they're going to start trying to, do this kind of thing. And, they're going to show you this or show me that. I'll be aware of it. And I know they know I'm aware of it. But it's your side that I'm worried about. And I know you can take care of yourself. So I'm not too worried about it. But just be aware of it. Let me tell you who I actually am. If I see a fly in the kitchen, I would prefer to let it out. Or catch it with a cup and then let it out. Or a bug in the kitchen, I like to let it out. Now, I like puppy dogs. I like big dogs. I like cats, little kittens, and big cats, and just about all animals, all the way up to lions, believe it or not. And I'm sure you probably get that. But I just don't believe in killing them. It's really not my life to take. If yours is in danger and you have no choice, then that's different. But you know what I'm saying. That's who I really am. Okay, so if anybody's told you any different or showed you any, and that's the other thing I wanted to and that's not just for now or just a little while ago. That's also from here on out. Okay, that is not who I am. So if you don't get it from me or my voice directly or me directly, it is not me. And I ask you and I beg you to please wait until you talk to me. And darling, you can talk to me to kill that number 8. You can talk to me at any time, and I would be so overjoyed and overthrilled. like I said, I'd probably be doing weird stuff around the house or around the neighborhood, and people would be wondering, what the hell are you doing? You know, if you had actually called me and talked to me, I would be so happy. But that's me. That's who I really am. Now, these used car salesmen, or the devil as you call them, or splitters, they like to keep people apart. They like to keep them from talking. This is what they do now, either themselves or their handlers that go out and for the smaller associates and tell them this, and then they do it. They like to keep people apart who like each other. They like to keep people apart, keep them from talking, so they can tell each one two different sets of information, and then they control them. That's how they control them. And that's how also they can destroy relationships. So I just wanted you to know that. And I've had 17 years of experience of watching them do that. It's not just me, it's been other people. And then they sit back and they laugh about it. Okay? So unless you talk to me directly, and I ask you to please give me a fair chance, and please don't judge me on that. I don't do that to yourself or anybody else. I wait till I can meet them personally and make that decision up for myself, not somebody who is, here's one more thing on that subject. If somebody's bringing you information on me, and only that person or only that family or only that group of people or only that person, then they've got to be getting it from somewhere, but it's not coming from me, because I have no recollection of calling anyone from any other family, yours or anyone, and letting them know, here's the information you need to forward to Jackie and Johnny and Golden. Here it is. I don't do that. They spy and they somehow get it, and it somehow must reach some other people, and at times it just seems it reads the tarot card readers. I don't know how that happens and everything, or it could be that they're just incredibly intuitive, and I don't know. But as far as that other stuff goes, unless you talk to me directly, the only thing I ask of you is that you please give me a fair chance, and please don't judge me. And I won't do the same I never do the same to anyone else unless I meet them directly. Okay, because that AI stuff, is exactly what it's for. And I don't like it. To me, AI stands for American Imposter. That's the Franks, Nazis, that's as they live here in America, and as they are called occupiers, actually, by the architect of the Capitol. They are occupiers. They call them occupiers. They're CIA associate minions, and they are the real AI, American imposters. That's what that stands for, because if you ever notice, everything has to be talked about in parables. Okay? So just that number 8, and I know that was long, but I wanted to get that clear because I don't want anybody to ever misjudge me. For God's sake, I can't wait to just meet the next puppy dog I can pet because they keep me away from them. They think that's too high of an energy to be produced in one spot. And they really do that, if you can believe it. Okay? They really do that. That's my experience. That's not just talk. Okay? Now, let's get to the good stuff. Okay, so from what I saw in the other cards that you had pulled there, and this is all about just that kind of one reading that you did. And Darlin, I thought it was fabulous, other than that point, which you did a good job. It's just that it kind of struck me odd and kind of concerned me, because I smelt a little infection on that side. Not you, but on their side. Okay? So, and that's what I call it, the infection, because they should not be here. All right? So if you're in a situation where you've got a chaperone type figure in your life, or it's not your real folks, or it's not your real, whatever, and it's only them bringing you information about certain subjects, I probably wouldn't, I would be very cautious of, why are you bringing this to me? Where are you getting it? And why can't I just talk to them? It's very suspicious, okay? But the good parts that you had brought up was something about it was kind of like the other night's one with the birth and support and Married at First Sight and all that stuff, all that made me like really, really happy in a really like comfortable way. I just want to let you know, just like the other night, that's why I was like, wow, it's really, really sweet to be, to even see such a, an in common thing, at least, that I could watch and things like that. So I'm just saying, so with the birth, and I think it was support, but it led to Married at First Sight or something. And, this, and if if you did have a friend, it would be like, wow, does he support all that stuff? And just, you can tell her or yourself, nothing but, I support nothing but those notions that the cards came up, that I guess it was 2 nights ago now, that, at that time. And again, they made me feel like, it was just peaceful and like it belonged and all of that stuff. And like I said, I just wanted to let you or your friend know that at least that's how I felt, and or my friend felt, if you know what I mean. Okay? But my ways, you would, I don't know if I should tell you all of them, but yeah, I like puppy dogs. I like, big dogs. I like pets and animals. I like, cats and little cats and big cats, and I like, cougars and all that stuff if I could have. Because they really, really, what I've learned, I used to have 2 best friends as rabbits where I used to live in the backyard, and they always used to ding as soon as they see humans, they run away. But I got to know a family of them so good that the papa rabbit would come up and eat right from my hand. And he would eat orange carrots, these baby orange carrots. I would buy them at the market. And I would come out and I would just wait. And one time I was sad. I went out there. I didn't have any with me, but he came right out. And he just came and sat next to me and nosed around my wrist for a little bit. And then he sat next to me, and then he went. And a lot of times when we would go back there to, just to, kick the soccer ball around or whatever, he'd come right out. Okay, I'm here. Okay. I mean, there's very little he can do the soccer ball. Okay, I'm here. Okay. But I thought that was cute. Okay, about the Coke. Well, if you say so, Miss Golden, darling, I'll get you the best Coke and the best Coke bottle. Those are the best ones that you want. But I just want, if you'll promise me, you got to give me the chance to try to earn an old-fashioned bottle Pepsi from me. I used to like Coke myself, like only Coke, but over time I tried both and I began to like Pepsi, which is no big deal. It's good to have a variety of soda in the house, but okay, I'll do that if you'll just promise me the chance that I get the chance to get somehow a nice bottle of Pepsi from you. Okay. All right. And about the spending time thing card and all that stuff, spending time, and just as long as it's, together with, who you want, which I know my answer to that, but, if it's your friend or my friend or whatever, and they wanted to spend time together, I'm all for that. As long as you're spending time with who you want, not who you don't want. Spending time with who you want, as much as possible, and that you're doing things that you want to do together. That's the main thing, and I ditto that. I absolutely ditto that. No problem on that one right there. But I do want to say one more thing about this sport. I got one more thing to say, then I'll let you go, darling. This used car salesman stuff or devil stuff, or, these splitters who want to try to run everybody's lives. They stick their hands in the middle of them, keep them apart, don't let them touch, don't let them talk. That's how you can identify them. And if there's only one source of person bringing you information about me or about anybody else or anything else that you might be interested in, okay, that's the one you need to watch and be careful of, because Darlin, I've had 17 years of that, and it's been experience. It's not hearsay. Okay, and they are always the ones that you need to watch, not necessarily go and attack. You can question them. There's nothing wrong with that, because they'll know, and then they'll start walking away real quick. And that's the affirmation, not confirmation, affirmation. Because affirmation is stronger than a confirmation. It begins with a con. So that's the affirmation that you can tell if it's them or not. And they're always, well, why can't I just get the information myself from where you get it? No, it doesn't work that way. You bet your ass it does. Excuse my language. Okay, so I've had to, now remember, I've had to put up with these idiots' provocations 24/7, where I am now even, 24/7, and be expected to not say anything in return, if you can believe that. Otherwise, they take recordings and they use them this way and that way and this way and that way. When it's actually them, they shut off all theirs. And then it's like, they're the ones where you can hear them conspiring on all the other sides. Like, how do you think we can best get them next and all this stuff? It's just a mess. And it needs to be cleaned up. They're doing it now. It's just they need to reach here very quickly. Otherwise, I'm going to start cleaning it up myself. All right. And I mean that in a civilized way. Please don't worry, but I do mean that, because I'm done with this already. Okay, just to let you know that. Now, there's one special part in there, Golden Darlin, I want you to hear this, because this almost... Okay, wait, I'm gonna be strong about it. I hope. Miss Golden, there was one point, and I've got a shot of it here. You had your hand, you were talking about, said somebody's family might be this or that or this or that or this or that. And Miss Golden, let me tell you, you put your hand on 3 cards, your left hand, and you had your hand. I call them my Earth Daddy and my Earth Mama. But I'll use the term Mom and Dad. Okay, you had your left hand, and I've got the shot. I took it, the screenshot up, and I hope you don't mind me using these. I just wanted to show you, so you get a little better understanding. You had your hand, as you're talking about meeting the family, and they would love you, Miss Golden. They would absolutely love you if, I could make that happen. But if you get my drift, I don't think I'll be able to make it happen, because it'd be kind of hard to reach them, if you know what I meant. But, if they were here, it would be no problem. They adore anybody that either myself or my siblings would approve of and want to make part of a family. That's what they would like. So that stops with me, since I'm I guess I would be the firstborn heir and head of the household now. And that's what these idiots are after, is my estate and my everything else. And they think I don't know about all of it. But you had your left hand on both of them. You had your left hand on both of them. I really don't want to go into the specifics, but you had it on 3 cards. And that started almost making me kind of lose it a little bit, if you will. I hate to say that. But then I looked over, and you had, I'm trying to get this out. I'm sorry. If you can believe it, and this little candle you had, we were talking about rosé and, pink champagne stuff, and I like all that stuff too, darling. I really do. On that candle was, one of the words on there was the street name that they lived on when I was born and when they had me. And it was that very year. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, it's some things are kind of written in stone, and some are written in life, And then it's like, Jesus, it was kind of one of the most, well, let's just say it was one of the more shocking things that I've seen in a while. Like I said, I don't get shocked, and that didn't shock me, but things were starting to shake a little bit. But when you had your left hand on my Earth Mama and my Earth Daddy, and I looked over on the right, you had a candle. When the year I was born, had a word written on there that was the name of the street that they lived on when I was born. So, thank you for that. Now that I've acted like a total idiot. But anyway, I just wanted to come on and okay, I'm back. I promise I'm back. I'm sorry. I know I'm a big baby. But anyway, that's kind of what went on at that part, and I almost lost it. Versus I did just now, Miss Darlin. I'm so sorry about that. Let me see here, I guess. Oh, and there was one more. You had said, do you see me that way? So if I had to tell my friends, tell your friend that, or if it was me directly telling you that, it would be the same answer as I gave you about the choosing question. You bet your sweet little blank, fill that in and use it as you like. I do. You bet your sweet little blank, I do. I really, really do. Everything that you mentioned here about, the cute little stork and the birth and the support with the crutches, the married at first sight and all that stuff. There was one thing I forgot to mention about, when you brought up theft and that hand is coming out of they do it so that to where you can't get to them, they think. It is that hand reaching down and robbing the cradle. They're robbing your estate. You're supposed to go through life with this blank, like a room card where you can put anything and everything on the room. We're all prepaid, Miss Golden. Since 1933, we have been prepaid. Okay, but what they wanted to do was come in and steal that and Social Security use of our Sesticate trusts and everything else. And now they tried to claim that it's theirs. It is not. It is ours. They are simply fakers, fraudsters, war criminals, and they need to go. They need to be deported. These are the ones that are the splitters, the devil, if you will. If you spell devil backwards, Miss Golden, you get lived. Means dead. And Satan, the one that you see, the big red thing with the horse, that's just an animation. It works nothing like it kind of really does, at least in my experience. And yes, it does have a name, but I'm not going to share that here. But it's nothing like that. It's all about to make sure these idiots that are doing all this stuff right now, keeping people apart, wanting them to use parables and exercise no contact and all that stuff, that's called keeping people apart. And that is called evil. And that is something I don't do. And I talk directly to a person as I possibly can. So I wanted to mention that. But that little black glove coming out of that theft card into that baby's cradle and taking out what you see is like a wallet, that's what that is. That's stealing their estate. It's stealing their way of life, leaving you a name. That's all they're doing. Okay, but everything else on there, Miss Golden Darlin, the birth with the stork, the support, and the married at first sight stuff, and all that good stuff, spending time and all this stuff, and I hope that, at some point it comes to, can't wait to talk to you or something like that would be great, because that's actually all it would be. I might be a little nervous, just like I babied up here a little while ago here, but I like puppy dogs, and I like little cats, and big dogs, big cats, and all animals and stuff like that. I have to let flies out the window in the kitchen because I don't want to kill them. And, for somebody to come and describe me that I've never met, I just want you to be aware of that. And please, if you give me that, if that's all I ask is that you give me that much, I think, things should be okay. Because there is no way I would let somebody come to me and say, oh, yeah, I know who she is. She's a real blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you don't know. You've never met her. That's how I would address that situation. So, anyway, I hope everybody has. I just wanted to come on here and explain to you what because I said if titles meant anything, well, this one was kind of explaining the rest of it as to how I got it. So, darling, you know how I feel about you. I love you so very much. Please take care. And God bless you. And please stay safe, okay? And I'll talk to you here next time very shortly, okay? God bless you. Take care, okay? Bye-bye.